With the YouTube adpocalypse still looming over many channels, if you want to support this one, check out my Teespring store for the latest merch. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater, and I didn't want to touch on this Rose Tico thing again. I feel like I spoke my piece on it yesterday, but I was sent a link to Grace Randolph's stream today where she talked about the situation, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't agree with what Grace said, and I feel that it's I don't quite know if she's pandering to an audience here or what she's doing, but I just let's just take a look at what she has to say, because I'm still trying to wrap my damn head around it.
All right, so let's move over to the next story of the day, which I think a lot of people will be interested in, particularly because I think I have a somewhat controversial take on it.
I think that's the understatement of the day, at least.
Now, this is Kelly Marie Tran, who really was getting a lot of attention on social media the other day because people were appalled that she had left Instagram because she was being bullied by the fandom. And I saw a headline, in fact, I wasn't even sure I was going to cover this because, again, as I said, I have an unusual take on it. But I saw somebody put a headline up for, I think it was the Sci-Fi website, and they said, "The toxic white male fandom of Star Wars is to blame." And
Now, what she's referring to right here is this particular article that I am going to do a response to. It's just long and it will take a little bit of time, but this is what she's referring to. And if this is where she's starting to kind of make the pushback against the studio and how the company's been attacking the fans, then that might be the perspective to look at her particular argument from, because this article is garbage. It's garbage.
I had a couple of people tweet me and say, "How dare you support the Star Wars boycott? Look who's behind it." And I was like, oh, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair at all. So let me tell you what I think. Because also Daisy Ridley left. But Daisy Ridley also, I think in both cases, it's a bad situation, but I think that these women are a little bit to blame. So first with Daisy.
Just okay, like, before we get into it here, like, it's a person who has spoken about, like, this kind of cultural shit for years. Like, just right there is going to get her so much crap from women, from feminists, that are going to sit there and be like, "You're victim blaming Kelly Marie Tran and Daisy Ridley," and she is actually, and I don't think that's accurate, right, or fair, because neither one did anything that is going to end up being the catalyst or being the reason for them getting the amount of shit that they've gotten. But let's continue.
Daisy Ridley. So I'm in the main chat room. So with Daisy Ridley, I think that Daisy Ridley went on and she made a comment about gun control. And, of course, there are going to be problems. And, there are trolls everywhere. Learn to block. Learn to block, ladies.
Again, I've been saying shit like that for years because I'm a man. It's viewed as sexist, but she's gonna get she's gonna get it worse than me. Again, making a comment about gun control is still not an excuse for getting just tons and tons and tons of shitty comments online, right? Like, it's not worth it at all. It's not the same thing. It's not to say that, like, I think that anyone, like I said yesterday, that anyone from, like, my fan base or, like, other people's fan bases are the big problem here. I don't think it's a lot of diehard Star Wars fans. I think there are third-party trolls, but it's still, I'm more taken aback by the fact that she's still trying to kind of, like, blame the actresses for what is clearly a studio, executive down problem and how things have been handled. I don't know if she's looking for just, like, a way to appease certain people or what Grace is doing, but, like, I'm really kind of shocked by this, which is why I'm doing the video response.
If you're going to be on the internet, it's almost impossible if you don't, I always say it's like tending a garden. You have to rip out those weeds immediately and, keep applying a weed killer, or your garden will just become overrun. And, they just didn't do the work.
Again, I get what she's saying, but it's also like there are people that are like their mental health. There are people out there that don't like any of this, that don't want to be involved in any of this, but still find themselves on social media getting attacked for no good reason. And then it can easily become overwhelming, right? Like, I'm a person who's been swatted because of social media fights. I've had people, take pictures of which they've ejaculated on my Twitter avatar. I've had people take pictures of pointing a gun at my face and sending it back to me. It's like, yeah, crappy things happen, but at the same time, let us not look away from, or change the conversation away from people who are the ones who are doing it. Not the people that they're targeting. Like, I feel like it's weird that I have to come out and say it, but I kind of feel like, I know trolling on the internet happens. I get it. I'm not trying to sit there and be like, oh, woe is me or whatever, or woe is they. Oh my God. I just feel like Grace is like, I don't know what she's doing.
So I think that Daisy Ridley made a mistake in that case. Now with Kelly Marie Tran, I feel like you guys are just waiting for me to say what I think. Oh, it's actually, I wouldn't make the comparison to Leslie Jones, although it's interesting. I think the hate towards Leslie Jones was worse, but I think with Leslie Jones owned it, really, attacked her detractors head on and made a career out of tweeting. Now when Leslie Jones tweets about something, I think that's how she got herself sent to, the Olympics, right?
She's true about that. That is true. Leslie Jones was tweeting about the Olympics, making little Twitter videos, and that's what NBC saw, and NBC sent her to the Olympics as a result of that. So that is actually accurate. And Leslie Jones was going toe-to-toe with the trolls, like going as far as to retweeting them in order to expose them to her audience, which only made the trolls go harder. This, of course, is coming after months of the situation involving Ghostbusters and how not only the director, the cast member, and the studio were attacking the fans. It was a lead into the situation. There was a lot that happened leading into that particular situation. And even though Leslie Jones owned it, yes, that's true, she also was actively participating in it. And I mean, it went as far as people hacking her website after hacking her phone and posting nude photos of her, as well as very explicit photos of her, and also her driver's license and passport photos, which were completely, that were all there on her website, or all there. It was bad, but at the same time, Kelly Marie Tran wasn't on Twitter going after these people. Daisy Ridley wasn't on Twitter going after these people. I do believe it's an insanely false equivalence to make this particular claim.
Right? Like, she tweets about something that, it gets her a lot of work. So Leslie Jones turned that lemon into a super sweet lemonade. So with Kelly Marie Tran, here's the problem. Kelly Marie Tran, and it's her fault, and it's also a little bit, I think, the people who made the movie.
Okay. Again, here's it's people who made the movie. I will agree, 100%. Kelly Marie Tran's fault. And listen to Grace's reasoning for this, and I like Grace. I do. I really do, and I hope to meet her at VidCon. And I am shocked. I tell you, shocked.
Fault. The Last Jedi. If you put a character into Star Wars who is so against what everybody wants to see in Star Wars, and you give her a silly hairstyle, and you have her act like in a real Tumblr sort of way, let's say, right? Which does not fit with Star Wars fandom whatsoever. Of course, there's going to be a bad situation. You really have to think about. Oh, Glowy Gal said my stream paused before I said what I think. But yeah, I just feel that Kelly Marie Tran, she went into somebody else's space, the Star Wars space, and she insisted on doing something incredibly different. So I think that she should have been prepared for a fight. And
wait, okay, hold on. Let's kind of break this thing down. So Kelly Marie Tran went into the Star Wars universe. That is true. She went into Rian Johnson's film that he wrote. So that means Rose Tico is a character that Rian Johnson created. That Kelly Marie Tran was just happy to be there, was just happy to be in the movie, and she was playing the part that was written, that she was cast in. Okay, that's it. So her being a different, maybe a Tumblr-esque character, that's on the part of the writer. That's on the part of the director. That's on the part of the studio. People letting that get to that point. She was merely hired to play a vessel, to be a representation of that. She is not the physical embodiment of it. That is not her life. That is not her style. I don't, maybe it is. I don't know. But at the same time, I just feel like this is like, oh yeah, you go into a big property and this is what happens. Like, don't do movies. It comes across as this really disingenuous comment. How can you blame someone for this? Like, Grace, there was a guy, and I'm sure he'll watch this video. There was a guy, I'm not going to say his name, but he ran a YouTube channel where he had a series called Grace Randolph is a Stupid Bitch. And he ran this for a while, and I constantly yelled at him for it because it was just like so ridiculous. Like, like, you can't do that. And maybe it's stuff like that gave her this particular opinion. Maybe it's dealing with people like him, and him always being mad at her that put her in this cynical state. But an actress who got her first real big break being in Star Wars, same with Daisy Ridley in terms of big break. You can't sit there and say that, like, oh, they should have, maybe they should have been prepared for like the fandom not to like their character. That's fine, but to push it to the lengths that would drive them from social media. It should be condemned by everybody, I think. Be critical, sure, fine. I'm critical on the movie constantly, but I just, God, like oh my God, I get so frustrated at this because it's like, as a person that's like had people come to my house, had a murder attempt, right? And I'm still here. It's like I have more of a reason to leave, but I'm still around. But it's like I would never tell anyone. I would never say this to anyone, and this is my own conviction. Because social media is a shithole, which is true, and no one will tell you any different. But to be like, just block people, it's. I think there's a difference when you are a person who's in a very, very, very publicized movie, a very big movie, than you are if you're just a YouTube commentator. To be fair. Therefore,
if she really was important to her, she shouldn't have backed down from that fight. She should have been like, I'm adorable. And I'm here to stay. And if you don't like it, F you in an adorable way. That's what I think she should have done.
But you can't sit there and put your freaking emotional like stress level on somebody else. Like you can't do that. I just don't think, like, I don't mind her walking away. She just deleted. She didn't make a big stink about it, right? She didn't make a big stink. She just deleted everything. And then you had like everyone coming out. And I think this response is not 100% aimed at Kelly Marie Tran. I think this response is predominantly aimed at like Rian Johnson, Kathleen Kennedy, Chuck Wendig, other people involved with Lucas that have been very vocal about the situation, and not so much Kathleen Kennedy. She hasn't been vocal, but like other people have, and I think that's what it's more aimed at. But at the same time, I'm just like, oh come on, Grace, what are you doing?
So what do you guys think? Do you think that the fandom is just horrible? Or, do you think Kelly Marie Tran has no culpability whatsoever? Nobody wants to comment on this. Let me go.
I'll comment on the fandom is not horrible, but there are horrible people in the fandom. There are people out there that are bad, that are jerks. That, like I said, I can give you hundreds of stories of people attacking me over the smallest thing, going further than what's happened to Kelly Marie Tran. So, it's more or less like, no, it's no, some people are jerks. There's that, but then trying to say, is she culpable in any of this I don't know. I don't want to say like a horrible thing to say, but it comes across like a horrible thing to say, accusing somebody of being culpable for people not liking their performance in something makes no sense to me. It wasn't like this was something she wrote, she directed, she created, and then she attacked the fans. If she would have been out there attacking the fans, I would probably have a different particular take on this, but she didn't. And as a result, she caught shit because she played a bad character. Like she played a bad character. I don't like Admiral Holdo, but I still love me some Laura Dern, like there's this, you got to separate. And I don't get where Grace is coming from. And I'm just going to say it. I'm a little disappointed. Because I just don't know, what her mind's. I understand she maybe wants to be controversial for the sake of being controversial, But as a person that works in this space and gets a lot of shit on social media, you figured there'd be a little bit more compassion and understanding over what goes on. But the turnaround and like victim blame is just wow. And and here's the thing, I will fully acknowledge that people might say that, Matt, you're just being an SJW. I'm not saying that anyone here shouldn't criticize or shouldn't do anything. And I'm not saying that Grace's opinions are wrong. I'm just saying I disagree with those opinions, predominantly because I just think that they're wrong. But I don't hate Grace. I'm just like, I feel like I got to respond to this. It just feels so left field for me, like so out of left field. It's just like, holy crap. But Quake Writer here in the chat on the sidebar says, fans should know the difference between characters and the actors, period. The bullying is mean and unjustified, and the fans are going too far. And I agree with that to the point, again, some fans are jerks, not all fans. Hashtag not all fans. So there's that. But anyway, I'll leave this to you guys to tell me your opinion on this. Do you think that Grace is right, that there's some culpability on Kelly Marie Tran's part? The comments on the video did yesterday don't seem to back that up. A lot of people very much feel that that Kelly Marie Tran ended up getting a lot of shit for no good reason. And I'm kind of surprised that Grace is taking this contrarian approach. I don't know if she means it or if it's just contrarian to be contrarian. But a lot of people came running when she said it, and that's what brought it to my attention, and I felt like responding. So, yeah, I'm curious to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been 3 Buck Theater. Grace, if you do see this, hit me up on Twitter. Let's have a conversation about it. I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you, either here on a stream or we can discuss this at VidCon. We'll both be there. So anyway, there's that. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.